Division rivalry games are supposed to be entertaining, they're supposed to be competitive, and they're supposed to be fun. However, though, for Lions fans, this game that we got coming up against the Bears has got them in a state of unease. Why? We're going to talk about it in today's episode, folks, so stay tuned.
We used to be a team no one respected. We used to be a team no one feared. That was then. This is now.
First victory of the year on the line. Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, end zone. Yes! Caught!
You know who we are.
10-5, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
And you know where to find us. We won't be far. We'll be on your front porch waiting for you. We are the New Era Lions. And
we are driven by Detroit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and we're diving in right now. As always, to those that are coming back, I just want to say thank you all for coming back. Thank you all for being loyal supporters. I am absolutely grateful and thankful for every single one of y'all. Thank you all for your view, your support, your patronage. And to those that are tuning into my show for the very first time, I just want to again say thank you all for tuning into my show. Thank you all for giving it a shot. And likewise, I just want to say hope you all enjoy the content, and I also hope to gain your subscription if I've earned and deserved it. And to everybody, I just want to say, God bless, hope y'all are having a good day, and let's dive into the show. So, here's the thing, folks. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I am not going to take too long with this one if I can help it, because I have had to redo this recording probably about 6, 7, 8, 9 times by now, because I've had problems with it. I don't know why, but that's the life of being a podcaster. But here's what I will say. Talking about this game. Lions are set to travel to Chicago. We already know that's going to be the case, and I'm going to say this. In a game typically like this, you have a 9-3 team, they're going up against a 4-8 team. Most people would think that 9-3 team should win the game pretty well, pretty handedly. However, though, for some Lions fans, there is an air of concern. There is a state of unease about this game. Now, why is that the case? Well, I'm going to be frankly honest with y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with the stats. It hasn't got a damn thing to do with stats. It has nothing to do with rankings. Because this is a game that for some people, stats and rankings don't matter all that much. This is a game about, okay, what is actually happening on the football field? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I could talk about the Lions' offense and defense, the Bears' offense and defense all day long in terms of stats and rankings. But pretty much what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give a very quick summarization about both sets of units, and then we're going to get into the overall analysis. So, without further ado, let's just kind of get into those stats and rankings so that way we can get into the analysis. So, I'm going to put the stats up on the board, and we're going to go through this as quickly as I can. So, we take a look at the Lions' offense. Lions' offense has pretty much been doing as it's been doing all year, has been doing ever since Ben Johnson has been the offensive coordinator. Scores a lot of points, puts up a lot of yards, very efficient, has a couple of areas it could improve in, such as in turnovers, scoring drive percentage could be a little bit better, but let's be fair and honest. This is an offense that scores points, and it scores in a hurry. It's efficient, it's explosive, it's a top 5 unit. End of discussion, no debate. And that's a definite credit to Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, all the players that we have, such as St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Montgomery, Gibbs, the offensive line, J-Mo, you know who I'm talking about. Let's move to the Bears defense. Bears defense, I'm going to be frank with y'all. The Bears defense ain't that good. You take a look at the totality of the Bears defense. They give up a lot of points. They're not good in red zone defense. They have the worst red zone defense in the entirety of the NFL. They're not good in pressuring the quarterback. They're not good in sacking the quarterback. So what's the only damn good thing that they're good at? Stopping the run. They have the number 1 rated defense in terms of stats and rankings. Not necessarily how sure and how solid that ranking is, but it's the ranking. Having said that, let's flip on the opposite end of this, and let's take a look at the Bears' offense versus the Lions' defense. Take a look at the Bears' offense. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Bears' offense is not terrible, but it ain't pretty either. It's kind of like a mid to subpar offense. Again, they don't score a ton of points, but they score enough to at least be entertaining to a degree. They're not really good in passing the ball, But what are the Bears good at? Well, they're good at running the ball. When you got a scrambling quarterback like Justin Fields, it's going to be a threat, and most offenses are going to exploit that. They're going to try to find a way to get the ball in his hands. And again, using him as a dual threat quarterback is also going to open up opportunities for the running game for other players, especially the running backs. So again, Bears offense, not terrible, but definitely not great. It's kind of in the middle. It's a subpar mid offense. Then you take a look at I'm going to just say this right now. I used to cringe when I would take a look at how bad some opposing teams' offenses and defenses are. That's about the state of the nature of where I am right now when I talk about the Lions' defense, because much like the Bears' defense, the Lions' defense has very little going for it. I'll just be frankly honest. Points, we give up a lot of points. We give up a good amount of yardage. We're not good in the red zone, especially, just like the Bears. We can't really stop opposing quarterbacks in terms of sacking them. We can pressure them for days, but we can't sack them. And again, we're not really good in stopping the pass. What are we really good at doing? We're really good at stopping the run. And again, penalties. We're very low in overall penalties, but we give up a lot of penalties for first downs because we get a lot of those automatic first down penalties, such as defensive holdings, pass interferences, things of that nature. So that's my whole point here. When you take a look at the stats and the rankings, nobody's really going to care that much, because ultimately, why are fans concerned? Why are they worried? It has nothing to do with the stats, because again, you take a look at the stats, the Lions offense should easily be rolling over the Bears defense. Has nothing to do with that. The reason why Lions fans are concerned about this game is because of what we're walking into in Chicago, and also because of what happened last time when here at Detroit. So, let's talk about that. Let's start doing that analysis here, because I'm going to tell you this right now. One of the biggest areas that most people are concerned about with the Lions for this game is the weather. Now, I already know that those that like to come onto my channel and say, oh, well, David, when you're talking about the weather, you're not necessarily talking about the offense. You're talking about Jared Goff. I'm going to say this right now. Yes, you are right. You are right. That's why I'm talking about the weather, but not for the reason why. I don't think the weather has anything to do with Jared Goff. In fact, I think that whoever started that idea that Jared Goff can't play in cold weather games is absolutely ridiculous. Because let's be fair and honest here. If we take a look at how Jared Goff has done in every single cold weather game, or just inclement weather game, because inclement weather is not necessarily just cold. Inclement weather can be cold, it can be wet, it can be snow, it can be windy. There's multiple ways you can call it inclement weather. But I decided to do this. I said, okay, here. Let's take a look at every bad weather game that Jared Goff has ever played. Let's take a look at that. And I decided to set the parameters for bad weather game as such. It has to be 40 degrees or lower. It has to have either like 20 mile an hour wind gusts, or there has to be some element of rain or snow in factor to call it an inclement weather game. It can have one, it can have all of them, I don't care. That's what I call inclement weather. I figured that would be a fair basis to call it inclement weather. So when I took a look at those parameters, this is what I got. This is throughout the entirety of his career. Because there's a reason why I'm saying that, because I'm going to set up something else here in a moment. When you take a look at Jared Goff in the entirety of his career, in cold weather games, bad weather games, whatever you want to call it, this is what he got. 218 completions, 373 attempts, 58.4 completion percentage rate, 2,554 yards, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with an 85.8 passer rating. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I already know the Goff haters. I already know the Goff detractors are going to instantly say, well, there you go, David. The stats pointed out right there, clear as day. Jared Goff can't play well in cold weather games. Okay, you might have a point there in terms of the fact that the completion percentage and the passer rating are low. But do I need to remind you that Jared Goff does have a 2-for-1 touchdown interception ratio in those cold weather, inclement weather games? So it's not like Jared Goff is terrible. And one thing I also will point out there as well, when I took a look at the stats, the reason why his completion rate is as bad as it is because most of those bad completion percentage games that are bringing down that rate were from when he was a rookie and in his second year in the NFL, when he was still learning the job. And that's why I said the entirety of his career, because let's think about it here. Are we really going to hold Jared Goff to the same nonsense that happened when he was a rookie, a first-year or second-year player? No, we're not going to do that. How about we actually take a look at what Jared Goff has done in terms of bad weather games since he's been here in Detroit? Now you're going to get a much better, a much more recent, a much more clearer picture as to why I don't think the weather is going to impact Jared Goff as much as most people would like to think it does. Because let's think about this here, folks. Since Jared Goff has joined the Detroit Lions in 2021, since he donned the Honolulu blue and silver and has been the starting quarterback for the Lions, this is how Goff has done in bad weather games. 121 completions to 191 attempts, 1,346 yards, 5 touchdowns to 0 interceptions with a 92.9 passer rating. Oh, and by the way, his record in said games where it's either cold, wet, windy, whatever, 4-1-1. 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. The loss to the Panthers, the tie to the Steelers, the wins, Jets, Packers, Bears, and Giants. So again, since joining the Lions and actually playing in those cold weather games, those bad weather games, Jared Goff has a substantially good winning record, and his player stats are actually pretty damn good. So what's my point there? For all the people that are worried about the weather, don't be. Think about it. Yes, players are sometimes going to have bad weather games, and they're sometimes going to have bad games because of the weather. But let's be fair and honest here. Jared Goff has shown since being here in Detroit, more often than not, the weather's not going to really faze him all that much. And think about this as well. The reason why everyone was talking about a bad weather game is because the original weather forecast for Sunday was in the mid-40s, supposed to be windy, supposed to be raining. However, though, ever since like late Wednesday night, I have been checking the weather report religiously, seeing if the weather report was going to change or something else was going to happen. I can tell you this right now. The weather report that we were supposed to get for Sunday's game has been shifted now to Saturday. The weather report for Sunday is mid-30s, mostly cloudy, very little chance of rain, 9 to 12 mile an hour winds. That's not bad. That's actually a pretty nice game in comparison to what we were looking at for Sunday prior to the weather report changing. So again, I'm not at all worried about the weather, and most people at this point shouldn't be as well unless we get some like freak weather change over the night. But that's what we're dealing with on that front. However, though, regardless of the weather, regardless of the concerns about whether or not Jared Goff is going to play good or not, there's other reasons that the Lions fans are worried. Let's think about this from another perspective that doesn't have anything to do with Goff, because we're going to come back to Goff here in a little bit, but that's going to be till later in the show. The other area that a lot of Lions fans are worried about is the injuries, because we have 2 major injuries for players that are not playing in this game, and that's All-Pro center Frank Ragnow is not playing, and defensive tackle Ali McNeil is not playing because he's on IR. Frank Ragnow isn't on IR, but McNeil is. Think about this, folks. We've already seen when the interior of that offensive line is disrupted in terms of starting talent, it causes problems. And with Frank Ragnow not playing, we have to think about this. That means Graham Glasgow is going to shift from guard to center. Then that means that either Colby Swordstall or Awasaka is going to have to fill in. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I would much rather go with Swordstall, but at this point, it's like, listen, I don't really like those odds because of the fact that we haven't really had a whole lot of good interior offensive line play from the backups. The only thing that's giving me a slight less than concern about it is the fact that, like I said, the Bears' ability to pressure the quarterback, sack the quarterback, is terrible. They are bad. They're worse at it than we are. So for me, that gives me a little bit less hesitancy, a little bit less concern. Now, that's the bad injury news for the Detroit Lions. The good news is that we are going to be getting back Alex Anzalone for this game. He is going to be active. He is going to play. That's definitely going to help because when he's on the field, the defense does play better. And we're going to definitely need him against the Bears and Justin Fields. Now, speaking of injury news, let's take a look at the Bears. The Bears do have some injuries that are going to impact them. Now, think about it this way. We take a look at the Bears injury report. Right now, we already know that one player that is crucial to them on offense is not going to play, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown's brother, Equanimous. He has been ruled out with a pectoral injury. He's crucial to the Bears' offense because he does sometimes get plays that he gets the ball thrown to him, but he's very good in terms of blocking, much like his brother in terms of screens, down the field for runs, whatever the case might be. He is not playing. But there are other concerns for the Bears offense because a lot of their other backup wide receivers are also dealing with injury. Velus Jones is not going to play, but he's dealing with an injury and he's now questionable to play. You also take a look at their other wide receiver, Tyler Scott. He's questionable to play. So while their starting weapons, such as Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, they're all healthy, they're playing. They're going to have to play a lot of time because their backups are either banged up or may not play. So that's going to definitely wear out the Bears' offense's ability to maintain itself. And then take a look at the defense. I hope I pronounced this name correctly, but if not, I do apologize. Defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, he popped up on the injury report on Thursday with a knee injury, if I recall correctly. So there is a question on whether or not he's going to be able to play. I'll be fair and honest. I don't know if he's going to play or not, because I'll be frank with y'all. I didn't think Chris Olave was going to play after having a concussion, and I sure as hell didn't think that Cam Jordan last week was going to play for the Saints either after not practicing the whole week. So I don't know if Ngakoue is going to play or not. But if he doesn't, that's definitely going to help out the Lions. But the injuries, again, are only part of the problem. Now we come to the main part of the problem for Lions fans as far as what's going on with the Bears, and that's their offensive weapon, Justin Fields. And here's the reason why. People aren't necessarily afraid of Justin Fields because of what he can do as a quarterback in terms of throwing the ball. Yes, he has the ability to complete passes. Yes, he has gotten better as a passer this year. But the problem that Lions fans have is the fact that he always seems to run on us for days whenever we play the Bears. Let's be fair and honest. Aaron Glenn, this Lions defense has still not figured out how to stop a damn mobile quarterback to save its life. If we had one chance to for that defense to prove its worth against a mobile quarterback, we would probably only get it like maybe a couple times out of 100, because I'll be fair and honest here. When we go against mobile quarterbacks, we always get freaking destroyed on the ground. And against Justin Fields, it ain't no different. In fact, it's probably the worst that I can think of right now. Because think about this. The Lions have played against Justin Fields 4 times where he's played in the game. In 3 of those 4 games, Justin Fields has rushed for over 100 yards on the ground. And in 2 of those 3 games was over 125 yards. Actually, one of them was almost for 150. It was 1 yard short, if I recall correctly. And think about this. This is why, going back to the injuries that I just talked about, this is a problem for Lions fans. Oh, that's right. Ali McNeil's not going to be in this game. He's our best interior defensive lineman, and he ain't playing. That's a problem for Lions fans, because it now means that if Justin Fields sees an opening up the middle of the field and Aleem McNeil's not there, guess what Justin Fields is going to do? You guessed it. He's going to run. And why shouldn't he? When you take a look at his stats over the 4 games he's played us running on the ground, he's ran the ball 44 times for almost 400 yards. 392 yards exactly. That's almost 9 an average a pop per rush for 2 rushing touchdowns. Translation, we can't stop Justin Fields on the damn ground. Aaron Glenn cannot figure out how to contain him. Now, how do we beat Justin Fields? The best way to beat him is make him throw from the pocket. Because take a look at his stats against the Lions in these 4 games that he's played. 46 completions to 81 attempts, 56.8 completion percentage rate, 620 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for an 82.3 passer rating. Now, I'll give Justin Fields this. The last game he played against us, he had a really great game passing the football. So yes, he is getting better. But your better way to beat the Bears is force them to throw it rather than allow them to run on you for days. That is what Lions fans want to see happen. Keep Justin Fields in the pocket, pressure him, sack him. Do not allow him to run around, extend plays either by allowing him to get outside the pocket and run, or also get outside the pocket and find open receivers down the field. You've got to pressure him. You've got to sack him. You've got to make his day in that pocket a living hell. Now, that brings us to the final part of this whole conversation, which is the game that we just had against the Bears literally 2 weeks ago. Because we played against the Bears at Ford Field 2 weeks ago. And that was a game that we should not have won. I literally referenced it in my episode talking about it. I'll put that episode back up at the top. But think about this. We should not have won that game. And the reason why we shouldn't have won that game was because of the fact that we were down, 2 scores with 4 minutes to go, and somehow we pulled a magic trick and we won that game. Improbable as it was. Now, why did we win that game? Well, 1, we got some breaks that went our way, but at the same time, our offense kind of got it together at the end and was able to make the game winnable, and we won it. And the defense definitely started putting stuff together at the end too. But what's the main concern for a lot of Lions fans going into this game against the freaking Bears? Going back to Jared Goff, it's the turnover problem. Yes, we just had a game against the Saints where we didn't have any turnovers from the offense. But when we're talking about the freaking Bears, everybody's instantaneously going to go back to that game where we were in Ford Field and Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions. And then they're going to want to reference, the Bears just played against the Vikings 2 weeks ago before their bye. They got 4 interceptions off of Josh Dobbs. I'm again going to try and reassure people here. That to me is more of an anomaly than anything. I honestly don't think the Bears defense is that good at getting turnovers. Because let's think about this, folks. The 7 turnovers that happened were all interceptions. 4 interceptions by Dobbs, 3 interceptions by Jared Goff. But let's take a look again at the interceptions that Jared Goff threw. 2 of those interceptions were not on him. One of them, Sam Laporta ran into the damn defender, and the other one got tipped at the line because the guy literally reached his arm over, tipped the ball, and it somehow freaking got in the arms of the freaking defender. Now, granted, one of them, Jared Goff did throw directly at the defender trying to force the pass, so that one's on him. But then I went and checked out the Vikings game with Josh Dobbs. 2 of the interceptions that Dobbs threw, he hit the freaking wide receivers in the hand. The ball got bounced in the air because the receiver couldn't catch it, and then the defense got it. That's not on Dobbs. Again, that's being opportunistic. That's being lucky. Much like how the Bears were lucky against the Lions getting 2 of their 3 turnovers. The Bears were also opportunistic and lucky against the Vikings in 2 of their 4 turnovers. So realistically, 4 out of the 7 turnovers that the freaking Bears have garnered over the last 2 weeks have not been about perfect scheme execution or about the ability to do their jobs very well on the field. It's just because of luck. Again, you can't really prepare for that. It's just the way the ball sometimes bounces. So again, if the Lions have quote unquote, I don't believe in it, but quote unquote lady luck on their side, and they don't have those crazy plays that do whatever to a team, they should be fine. Again, the weather is going to be in a good place. I've already proven Jared Goff is not bad in bad weather games. So for me, it comes down to this very simple concept. What do the Lions have to do? Slow freaking Justin Fields down from running the ball. Keep him in the pocket, sack him, pressure him. Do not let him get outside and cause us problems. Number 2, you've got to cover the wide receivers and tight ends. Cover Cole Kmet, cover DJ Moore, cover Darnell Mooney. Especially cover Kmet and Moore because those are the 2 leading wide receivers for the Bears right now. Pardon me. Kmet actually is the 2nd leading receiver in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So again, kind of like how Jared Goff is with freaking Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, Justin Fields is the same way with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Then you take a look at the Lions offense. What do they have to do? They must sustain drives. They've got to keep long drives. They've got to allow their defense to rest up. They've got to allow that defense to get a breather and also sustain those drives to get points to put the pressure on the Bears defense and offense to try and find a way to stop them. If the Lions offense can do that, we're going to be in a good spot. And again, I'm going to say this right now. Use Goff to the fullest. Again, going back to what I said about the Bears defense, they're terrible against the pass. They're not that good. They're not that bad against the run. Again, Bears have the number 1 rated defense on the ground. They have like a number 25, 26 pass rated defense. Run the ball when you have to. Set up that play action pass and let Jared Goff start picking them apart so that way you can open up the running lanes. Again, this is not going to be a bad weather game. It's just going to be cold. So long as the players can handle that, we should be fine. So again, I understand the uneasiness. I understand the concern. But that was why I wanted to put this episode together to try and say, okay, I get the concerns. I get the problems. But I believe that the Lions should be fine. But again, we need to make sure that the Lions come out and they play very well on Sunday. We need to make sure they do their jobs. That is absolutely imperative. So hopefully we'll see what happens come Sunday. It's going to be here much sooner than we think. But until that time, I just want to say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you enjoyed what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage you all to watch the next episode that I got coming at the end of this one. And I also encourage you all to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, I highly, highly, highly encourage you all please to do this. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel, but also make sure you also turn on that bell notification icon as well, so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. Again, subscription numbers are always going up, but we want to make sure that we've got that bell notification icon turned on as well, so that way as soon as I push something out, you guys always come back to the channel, you guys get the notification. You guys can come in. We can have great conversations about football and the Lions. To also aid in that, I also encourage you all to share this content to your Lions friends and family members. Share it on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. Again, the more people we share it to, the more people we can get in, the more we can grow the channel. And with that being said, I again just want to say thank you all to everybody that have watched the content. Thank you all for staying through to the end of the episode. You guys are absolutely amazing. If I hadn't gained your subscription up until now, and I just did, I want to just say thank you all for your subscription. Welcome to the family. I'm so thankful that you guys put your trust in me. And if I still haven't gained your subscription, hopefully you'll come back and I'll get another chance to do so. But to everybody, I just want to again say thank you all for watching the video. I just want to say God bless. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.